Hi everyone, welcome to the Aural Theory series. My name is Dr. Julia Alford. In today's video, we are going to look at part one of a two-part video that I'm making on mode mixture. In this first video, we're going to look quickly at what is mode mixture, and then if you want, you can come back to get some harmonic dictation practice. Okay, so let's jump in. So first, what is mode mixture? So mode mixture is basically the mix of the two different modes. So if you are we're in D major, you are going to borrow from D minor. It's always the parallel minor, i.e. they have the same tonic. So if D is the first scale degree, it could be major or minor. So that's mode mixture. We're going to look at some examples. And you could also be minor to major. That's a lot more rare, and it's usually only on the last chord. So today we're going to concentrate on just starting in major and borrowing from the minor mode in our progression. Let's just jump into this little example of chord progression of chords and see how we could flip them into mode mixture. So in major, these would be the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, and the diminished 7, okay? Now, when we are doing mode mixture, we're asking ourselves, what is the key signature for the parallel key, or what is the key signature for D minor? It is 1 flat, B flat, right? So if we're going to write chords in the parallel key, we're basically going to cancel out those sharps or use naturals and then add flats. So let's see how that works if we kind of go through here and change these chords to be in D minor. So this 1 chord, we would add that natural and it would become a minor 1. The 2 chord, we would add a flat and it would become 2 diminished. The 3 chord, we would cancel out the F sharp and the C sharp. And that, because we changed, let me put that in a different color. Because we changed the roots, we're going to add a flat in front of the Roman numeral for the chord. This is just something that we do. It's standardized practice for indicating that the root of the chord has been changed, okay? So kind of back to normal. So the G major chord, we would add a flat. That would become minor. The 5, this is a little bit more rare, but the major 5 would become minor 5. The 6, again, we would change the roots and the 5th, and we would label that as a flat major 6. The 7, again, I mean, you'll see. So this would only be in like the context of a sequence. But if we were to use this, if you lower that C natural, that actually becomes a major chord, so that would be a major 7. And again, the major 7 in minor is even really rare, and so it would only be used if you were setting up some kind of sequential motion, which we're not really getting into, so you honestly don't really need to worry about it. Okay, so that's sort of the different chord possibilities. So if your teacher gives you a clue, like your unit says mode mixture, and you see a major key signature at the beginning, you're going to want to automatically think about what's the parallel key. Again, the parallel of D major is D minor. Okay, it's not relative, it's not D major or B minor, it's D major and D minor. So different key signatures, same tonic. And some of the same other pitches too. Okay, so let's look at a progression. So this is a nice little progression. Uses a couple of applied chords in major. Let's take a listen to it. Okay, so some possibilities of things that we could change. The other thing about mode mixtures, you generally need to establish the tonic in some way. If you just started a piece of music with like this first chord being that, that wouldn't really be mode mixture. It would just be starting in the minor mode. So mode mixture generally happens when we start in major and then switch to minor. So for example, I think if we look down here, you have the major 1 and the 5-4-2, and then it resolves to a minor 1. So we've got those C naturals. And then it's a 5-7 of minor 4. Okay, so if you're resolving to a minor 4, you're going to change that in how you write the applied chord too. Okay, so let's take a look to how that sounds. And then you'll notice that we go back to major at the end. That's pretty typical. So you'll have this like little sprinkling in of the parallel minor, and then you go back to major for the resolution. It's often used in music. It's used in a couple different places. So the classical composers tend to use it in, say, a recapitulation or a development section of a sonata or a classical symphony. So when they're developing material or when they're restating it, but they want to mix it up a little bit, they'll put it into the parallel minor. So they'll use some mode mixture. The Romantic composers tended to, especially towards the end of the Romantic era, tended to just go back and forth between major and minor. When they pushed it to the limit, it was like, are we in major? Are we in minor? I don't know. We won't get into that today, but there are some cool examples of that you can look up if you want. So let's take a look into how this sounds in mode mixture. Pretty cool. And then let me just stop real quick and go over a couple more rules with you of how this can work. Okay, so another example that you might see along the way is maybe, let's stick with D major. You will just put the 1 chord here. You could have like a 4, so a major 4 chord, and then you could have a minor 4 chord. That happens quite often. Okay. What you're not going to have happen quite often, let me draw that flat in a minute. There we go. What you're not going to have happen is like the minor 3 to the major 3 or the minor 6 to the major 6, because you'll end up with parallel fifths or octaves or both. So if we look at that, say the 3 chord in D is this. And then if we made that into the flat 3, again, we're going to put the flat in front of the Roman numeral, you can see here that we would have parallel fifths. And there's not a lot of voice leading that can fix that. So really, if you're hearing a progression and you think you hear 3 going to flat 3, you probably don't. Okay, so that's the quick basics of mode mixture. And there's lots of stuff online that you can find if you want to look it up and learn more. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And if you are continuing in our harmonic dictation series, you want to keep going to that mode mixture harmonic dictation lesson. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, before I go, sorry, subscribe, please like the video, and do leave a comment or question below. It helps me out so much. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next video.